Like you can, yeah, yeah. Let's hear that again. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Moses. I'm back again with another video today. In today's video, I want to talk about the new plugin that soundtoys just released. I think they've been working on this plugin. I've been seeing, some glimpses all over the internet during the NAM weekend a few weeks ago about this new reverb that they've been working on. Just so you know, this is not like a new bundle of soundtoys plugin. For those of you who are like fans of soundtoys, this is not like a brand new set of plugins. This is just one plugin they are adding to their collection. It's the Super Plate plugin, and we're going to check it out today. We're actually just going to check it out together. It was released officially to the public yesterday for downloads and installation and things like that. So I don't know what it really sounds like yet, but I've kind of read a little bit about it, and we're going to dive into it. So come along, let's quickly, check out a couple of examples of how I would use the plate reverb in my production or maybe in my mixes. All right, so let's go into a session right here that I have open. This is a song that I worked on recently. I would typically use a plate reverb on background vocals, maybe lead vocals. Sometimes if I need to, I tend to use plate reverb on drums, specifically on snare drum when you're looking for that kind of like steel sound, that big snare. And also I tend to use it in place of spring reverb sometimes if I'm looking for that springy sound. I think plate reverb can also give you that feel as well. And also I can use them on guitars as well. But we're just going to, check out a couple of examples of how I would use it. So let's find, I kind of already load up the plugin right here. This is the Super Plate plugin. The interface, the GUI looks really decent. It looks nice. It looks okay. There's really nothing to complain about on that. Now it has they have 5 models, right? The classic EMT 140. This is like, in my opinion, most popular plate reverb out there. The classic the EMT 140. UAD has one. Waves, they've done theirs. Arturia, they've done theirs. This is Soundtoys version of the EMT 140, but they can not only give you EMT 140, which could cost you about $200 if you're kind of buying it directly from UAD. But if you have Soundtoys 5 already, you've been using their plugin before, like I have been using, you can just download this for about $29 more. You just pay $29 and you add this to your Soundtoys 5 collection that you already own. So let's go into this, again, like I was saying, 140 classic EMT 140. They have this one, they call it the Gold Foil 240, the Audicon, the E-Plate 3, and the Stocktronics. So all of these have their own characters, their own different sound. We're not necessarily going to go into all of them. If you want to check out, the meaning of all of these things, you can read the manual that comes with it, and also just play around with it. I think there should be some kind of free trial with it. You can check out their website if there's a free trial for this particular reverb. 3 things right here. This is according to what I read in the manual, you have the input drive. So this one that looks like a resistor, whatever, it's this is clean input, right? Whatever you send to it is what's going to get in there. This one that looks like a tube is actually the tube saturation, right? So they're saying you can select this and it drives your input signal a little bit with a tube saturation. And they have this other one which is called the solid state. So it's modeling that solid state circuit circuitry where your input is getting, your input signal is passing through that before hitting the reverb and kind of giving it a little bit of texture and flavor. You have this decay time, just if you use the Little Plate plugin by same Soundtoys, this wouldn't look so new to you, just like it looks just like the Little Plate. This is the decay time. You can add some pre-delay to it. For those who don't know, when you click on the parameter like this, you can actually see the value that you're adding, and then you can tweak it a little bit. That's actually just a quick nugget right there. Also, it has some modulation. You can add some modulation. Like I said, you click on this, it tells you how many percentage modulation you're adding to it. The same goes for, all of the other ones. For the mix knob, dry, it shows you how many percentage you're adding into it. Input drive, you can drive it harder and then maybe back out your output a little bit, but we're going to take this back to 50% right here. They added a new stuff for this EQ, which I really like. So they have this EQ right here, which is like you can just, when you roll it up, you roll off this low cut high pass, high cut low pass filter. You can roll this all the way down, but now they added a little tweak to this thing, which I really like. So if you click on this tweak parameter, it opens up this place and you can see how your EQ is actually doing its thing right there. So when I move that low cut, you can see the low cut and the high cut. And now you can also now select your Q. You can select your Q, how sharp you want it to kind of cut off on both the eye. But that's not all you get. You see this 1 and 2, this is another point of EQing that you can add. If you feel like you're still having more rumbling and you still want to cut out things, you can cut out things right here. You can add a little bit more body or whatever you think you want to do. So it gives you more room on this reverb plugin, where you can add more point on the EQ instead of you having to add an EQ after the reverb. It maybe saves you a little bit of CPU power right there. They put in modulation rate in here as well if you want to mess with that. Now this is just a regular stereo width. You can go all the way to mono reverb, or you could go all the way to like a stereo, full stereo. You can mess around with these, maybe like automate these in the way where you have it coming in from mono in the verse and then boom, stereo in the chorus. That way it makes your stereo sound even bigger. That's like a mixing trick you can do with it, or a creative tool that you can just work with. This balance, maybe depending on the signal you're sending in, if the left is louder than the right, you can adjust that right here. Now they added this new part that I really love. If you are the type that do something like maybe sidechain your reverb to the input signal, this can do that for you. But what it does, the way it does this, it's like instead of sidechaining the whole thing, what it's doing is it's sidechaining with your input signal. But what it's doing is it's reducing the decay time. When the input source hits this reverb, this will bring down the decay time to a particular value. I believe that's a value that you have to set here, and with a particular threshold that you also set, right? And also with the recovery, which is your release time. So for the very first one, let's start with these background vocals that I will typically use like a plate reverb for. Actually, in this production, I had a Valhalla plate reverb that I was using. So this is just another plate reverb that we can play with right here. Let's go to this chorus section right here and see. And be blessed by our praise. Be blessed by our praise. So immediately I noticed that why is this sounding weird? So I have this width all the way down here. Let's take it up to 100 full stereo. Now we can hear that lushness in that verb. Take your place. Take your place. Let the atmosphere be filled with your goodness, Lord. Arise. Our praise. Take your place. I'm just exaggerating it a little bit so we can hear the sound of this reverb. Let's flip through some of this model and hear, maybe, they have different flavors. Take your place. Immediately I heard a little difference on this other one. It sounds a little bit like there's more body to it. You know what, let's turn off all of these EQing that we have in here so we can actually hear what is going on with this reverb. Take your place. Yeah. I feel like this very first one has a little bit more decay to it, but this one feels sharp. Yeah, this gold foil feels a little sharper, Uh, but let's look at this Audicon. Yeah, a little bit more decay to it. It feels a little lively in my ears. To me, feels a little bit more like you're in maybe like a church, like an old big church in a way. But yeah, but you can hear the reverb still from the plate, right? So let's take out some of the high end here and hear that. Let's cut out the low end too. And then if I want to just cut out that low mids area. Now let's try out this auto decay functionality and see what is really going on here. Again, this is my first time trying out this function as well. Let's see what it's doing really. Oh, you can see what's going on here, right? So I set it at 0.5, right? Target is at 0.5 seconds. What is doing it is changing it. You can see the signal. It's really like changing this value to this value so that after my recovery time, then it goes back to this normal value of 2 seconds. Take your place. Let the atmosphere be filled with your goodness, Lord. So if I want a really long decay time, I can still have a long decay time at the end of my phrases. But at the beginning of my phrases, I can have a shorter decay time, maybe like 1 second. And let's see. Take your place. You can, yeah, let's hear that again. Now, this was really exaggerated, right? I wouldn't do 8 seconds on this song. Probably maybe do something like 2.5-ish seconds. And bring this down all the way to maybe 0.5. And then balance this, if I'm sending all the way down here, probably just bring it down a little bit this way. So now since my send level has changed, I need to change my threshold now. Our praise, take your place. Take your place. Let the atmosphere be filled with your goodness, Lord. All right, really nice function. You wouldn't need to bring in another plugin for your compression, for your sidechain compression, and kind of like side chaining everything. This one does that for you, but in a different way by just bringing down that decay time. Really nice function. I might add, this reverb on like organ as well. Let's see what is really happening. I have it on this Boss 40. Let's see. Yeah, immediately puts it in that spring kind of sounding room, which I kind of like. So now this is where you have to also make sure you're tweaking this thing properly. I don't want auto decay on this one, for example, in this particular situation. So I want to turn that off. Usually I will set my pre-delay time to something that syncs with the tempo of the song, right? So that my pre-delay is not too far off or it's not weird. Let's drive the input and maybe back down the output. And let's listen to only the reverb itself. Yeah, this is decent reverb. You may have to sit down with it, find out how you can use it to your own advantage and what you can, make out of this reverb, and hopefully it's good for what you're looking for. But I think for the price, especially if you already have the Sound Toys bundle before, you can get it for a very cheap price and have that EMT 140 sound and hopefully make some good music with it. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you do, please make sure you like, subscribe, leave a comment below. Let me know what's your favorite plate reverb. Valhalla plate, I use that often a lot as well. But whatever your plate reverb is, let me know down in the comment section. And I'll see you in the next video. Cheers, guys. Peace.